James Joyce said, "I am tomorrow or some future day what I establish today." Today's Bloomsday, 16th of June. Happy Bloomsday, everybody. So I'm going to bastardize James Joyce's words. I may be struck down by lightning. But we are tomorrow or some future day what we establish today. So it's the we I want to talk about today. I want to talk about collaboration. But specifically, I want to talk about collaboration between SCI, the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe, and SCAA, the Specialty Coffee Association of America, and the possibilities therein. Now, like any story, there's a little sinister subplot. The natural nemesis of collaboration is competition, and it lurks and sits behind the story of collaboration and the potential. So if we are the specialty coffee associations of America and Europe, then where is specialty coffee? So we know over the last 2 days, the specialty coffee is sitting there on top of this enormous industry, which is growing at around about 7% over the last 4 years, 50% consumed by the traditional markets, and with 30% approximately being consumed by the exporting markets and growing, and the rest by the emerging markets. So we're in a nice place. We've got awareness of the specialty coffee industry growing. We've got understanding growing. We've got respect for the industry growing, which is good. But as we will have seen over the last 2 days, there is a number of sinister subplots to that. We've got leaf rust. We've got the potential of other crops, being cocoa particularly pointed out yesterday. We've got the narrow genetic pool. So these things lurk in the background. So let's look backwards a little bit to look forwards. And the two associations, the origins of these associations, I mean, predominantly it was North American roasters who were inquisitive and curious and trying to explore what could be with species and processes and cups, what could be. So these predominantly rich roasters from North America would engage with predominantly relatively poorer growers from Central America. And effectively the association becomes a conduit for that community to try and push forward and connect. That was in 1982 when the American Association was established. In 1998, the European Association was established, effectively with similar goals. If we look over that period, 1998, SCAE, or SCI, was founded. Since 2000, 2015, the connectivity in our lives has obviously transformed, and it's been transformational for our business. So this year, we've got 7.2 billion, give or take a few, people in the world. 3.2 billion of us are connected online. In the USA, you have 195 million users in the internet over the age of 15. In China, there's 355 million. In 2000, there was 22 million. That's some growth. That connectivity has enabled farmer to barista, and it's going to further enable farmer to consumer. And this is the landscape we live in. This enables us all. So what is this little minority of specialty coffee we have? Does anybody really have a number on it? Do we really know what size it is? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody has any specific numbers on it. Look at the actual industry from Maurizio's talk yesterday. So effectively what we have is this noisy, geeky, connected little sub-piece of the industry. And the rest of the industry looks on this specialty coffee community with a mixture of admiration and complete horror. It's like, what is this thing about? But it's there, and it's noisy, and it's being watched. So what can 4% do? What really can that tiny minority do? Well, to see who will care or who will listen as to what this industry can do, the specialty coffee industry, we need to look at why it exists and why it grows. Money, always a good driver for things to happen. So if you look at the specialty coffee industry, you've got high prices, high margin, great brand equity. Who wouldn't want some of that? Then you've got this push over the last 15 years or so in terms of provenance, both in food, in beer, in all sorts of consumed products. The same is for coffee. Isabel used the word authenticity yesterday. Authenticity through transparency and provenance. That's where specialty coffee thrives. And the connectivity enables it. But effectively, the key to the specialty coffee associations is this: a shared belief. A shared belief in something better, in something which tastes better, can be explored. It's a shared belief. It's why we are all here. It's why we're all engaged in it. So if you go back to the associations, this shared belief started out in 1982, 1998. Connectivity didn't really exist as such. So what you had was two disparate geographies, but ideologically the same. A shared belief. The American side, the European side, your education programs, exhibitions, competitions, tick box, tick box, tick box on either side of the Atlantic. And more recently, both associations working on research and sustainability programs. A shared belief. And underneath all this, we've got this amazing business model. Think about it for a while. Find a niche in any industry which is not really being looked after. Okay? Get the best of the marketplace, the best minds to design free products and services, distribute them with free volunteerism. It's brilliant. It's great. Why? Why do all these volunteers rush to Gothenburg this week, to Seattle in April, and it will do to Atlanta next year? Why? Because it's a shared belief. It's a belonging. People want to belong to this community. They want to be part of it. They believe in it. That's very powerful. So if you look backwards again a little bit on the two associations, so what you had was the European Association created this thing, the World Barista Championships, and then said to the Americans, well, let's share this thing. That's sharing again. So 50-50, the American organization and the European organization share this thing, the World Barista Championship. Great. Started off, if anybody remembers back a number of years, where it was really quite amateurish, thrown together by enthusiasts, and has been professionalized by the two associations, and even more so by collaborating further when the two associations began this new organization called World Coffee Events. So WCE, or World Coffee Events, created the professionalist era we have now of the World Championships. They've also created this, RICO, for both associations. So what next? What else can we do? Well, if you look at what we can do, I wonder what would happen if we don't do it. The sinister underbelly of competition lurks. The reality of the associations versus the reality of the industry is what we need to consider. The industry is global and is connected through the Barista Championships, where baristas really got a singular voice, and through the connectivity of the world. Geographic boundaries bore this industry, and particularly the younger generation. The idea of Specialty Coffee Association of somewhere versus somewhere is boring to the future of coffee. It's a global situation. So both boards of the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe and of America have come together and have worked actively together over the last number of years to have a unified voice, and to try and share that unified voice, and to have a stronger voice in that tiny minority we exist in at 4%. So what can we do? What can we possibly do? Well, what we can do is we can start by saying, well, what can be? What's the vision? So both boards have come together and signed up to and agreed to a shared vision. And that vision is powerful. It's to create an effective, dynamic, and authentic institution to give voice and substance to the possibilities of specialty coffee worldwide. It's great because we don't have to promise anything with something like that. It's just a vision. But it's something we can both believe in, a shared vision for a shared belief. So if an association exists to support these communities, and if an association exists to actually support the activities, then really we are not leaders, we are followers. So our job as associations is to follow where this geeky, noisy, connected, respected, and in somewhat scary niche, and we need to enable that. So I'm now going to lead on a video from a TED Talk by Ted Sivers about the first follower. I hope you enjoy it.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut, and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So interesting, eh? So our role, I believe, as the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe and the Specialty Coffee Association of America is to be first followers. We've got to find those lone nuts, and we've got to give them some love. And we've got to see what can be in this association, and we've got to move towards the tipping point Ted Sivers mentioned. So who are the lone nuts? Well, some of them we haven't even seen yet. Is Isabel a lone nut? Is Camille a lone nut? Should we embrace them or reject them? These are the questions the associations have to honor. So if we just take my background's in product design and product delivery. So if we take the product tipping point, the tipping point was mentioned in the video. The tipping point is whereby the early innovations are then taken on by the early adopters. And once you get to 15 to 18% of the market, then at that point, the tipping point happens. Then people get involved. And then people feel ridiculed if they are not involved. So this is the journey we're on, and we can accelerate this in a collaborative way, back to collaboration, to move us towards a majority. These people over here, they don't have Netflix yet. So it's about moving the majorities. So if you take the situation that we mentioned earlier, about 4%, ostensibly, the specialty community respects and values the whole chain. Ostensibly, the farmers are better off in the specialty community, and the roasters are better off, they're more informed, and the consumer allegedly wins. Morton has something to say about that earlier. But this is where we believe we are with the specialty community, that the farmers, the roasters, the consumers all win. So imagine if we move that to 15%. We end up with a specialty coffee model which is sustainable, which can transfer to a tipping point, which can become the majority, and everybody can win. This is the idea. And this is the idea that we should embrace, and an idea we should not be fearful of. Because to not do so, we would end up with small, nationalistic, narrow-minded fiefdoms fighting each other, which is the underbelly of competition. So this is the idea. If we don't collaborate, we compete, and the opposite of sustain is to die. So these are our choices. So this is the idea I'd like to leave you with. I'd like you to discuss it. I'd like you to engage and to consider this idea. And I started with a quote, so I'll finish with a quote. So as Eleanor Roosevelt said of ideas, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. Thank you.